Hey everyone, I'm going to take a little bit of time here to explain what you need to do to complete Week 2 Assignment 2 on coherence. Much like the other assignment here in Week 2, it's a good idea for this one to make sure that you have also gone through the lessons in the Week 2 module, specifically the second lesson on coherence. That's what this assignment covers. So make sure you've done that. Also, you'll be completing this assignment as a text submission, just like you did the first one. Again, the easiest way to do that is to copy and paste the assignment into the text box and then go in and mark your answers. If you are unable to do the copying and pasting, you can simply number your answers and type them into the text box. Just make sure I know what's going with what. Sounds like someone was behind me. Either way is fine with me. So for this assignment, we are working again on coherence, making sure that our ideas are ordered in a logical way in our paragraph, but also making sure that they are connected, that the ideas flow from one to the next. So in question 1 here, we have a paragraph, and you'll see several blanks in the paragraph, and those blanks represent missing transition words, right? And up above the paragraph, you actually have 3 transition words to choose from to fill in the blanks. So for that paragraph there in number 1, the 3 transition words you have to choose from are another, finally, and one. So you're going to read that paragraph and figure out where each of those transition words goes. Where does it make the most sense to place each one of them? And you'll type them in. Same thing for paragraph number 2, right? So now we have 5 blanks, 5 transition words to choose from. Then, next, therefore, first, and after. Read through the paragraph and figure out the most logical place to put each of those transition words. In number 3, we have several paragraphs we're going to work with. Each paragraph is just a list of sentences, and they're not listed in the correct order. So your job is to put them in the right order. Number them. You'll see the lines next to the sentences. For instance, paragraph 1, you have 5 sentences there. The first one starts with next, first, driving, finally, second. Your job is to figure out the correct order of the sentences. Use logic. Use any clues that are provided for you in the sentences to figure out what is the topic sentence. Put a 1 next to it. What sentence makes the most sense to come right after the topic sentence? Put a 2 next to it. And so on and so forth. Same thing for paragraph number 2 in question 3. You've got 5 sentences there as well. Figure out the order. Write a 1 next to the sentence that you think is the topic sentence. Write a 2 next to the sentence that you think comes second in the paragraph. So on and so forth. Paragraph number 3, same idea, only now we have a lot more sentences. We've gone from 5 to 11. So this one is going to take a little bit more effort, perhaps, to figure out what the topic sentence is. And now that we have more sentences, we probably understand, or we should, that we have our topic sentence, and then this sentence or this paragraph probably has several main ideas, and each main idea has examples to go with it. So you got to figure out not only what the 3 main ideas are, but which sentences go with each main idea, and then what's the most logical order for all of them. One piece of advice I will give you for this particular paragraph is humans tend to remember best what they read or hear last. The beginning gets, we don't always remember it very well. The middle gets a little hazy, but we tend to remember what comes at the end pretty well. So if you've got several main points that you're trying trying to make, several main ideas. Which one would you want to come at the end of your paragraph? Probably the one that you think is the most important, the biggest example. So keep that in mind. That might help a little bit trying to figure out the best order for these. But again, this is a much fuller paragraph than the first two were here in question 3. So you've got a topic sentence you've got to find, but then you've also got several main ideas in the paragraph, and each main idea has, multiple supporting ideas or examples to go with it. So you got to figure out how everything is grouped and then how to order it. Do your best. Again, use some clues, use the advice I just gave you, and do your best. Try to figure it out. All right. Question 4, we are working with transition words, right? How to move from one idea to the next. So in question 4, you've got 4 groups of sentences here. And what I want you to do in each group is underline the transitional word that's being used to get us from the first idea to the next idea. Underline the transition word in each example. Question 5, we're looking at repeated words. Words that are repeated on purpose for emphasis or effect. Not simple words that we, use multiple times in a sentence like the, and, to. We're not talking about prepositions or conjunctions. We're talking about nouns, verbs, or adjectives that are repeated on purpose for a specific reason. To either emphasize an idea, for some sort of effect, maybe to create rhythm, right, and flow in the sentences. So you're going to look at each group of sentences. There's 3. And I want you to underline the repeated word in each set. So like in A, there's a word that is repeated on purpose. Underline that word whenever it appears. Not and, like, to, none of that stuff. Like real words, right? So do that in A, B, and C. In question 6, we're working with synonyms. All right, so remember a synonym, synonyms are 2 words that mean roughly the same thing, right? They obviously look totally different. They sound totally different. They're spelled totally differently. They are 2 completely different words, but they mean roughly the same thing. So in examples A, B, C, and D, there is a word that is in italics. For example, in A, the word thieves is in italics. What I want you to do is look at the rest of example A and find the synonym for thieves, a word that means roughly the same thing, and underline it. Same thing for B, C, and D. Do not underline the word in italics. Find the other word that means roughly the same thing as the word in italics and underline that word, right? Question 7, we're looking at pronouns. So remember, a pronoun takes the place of a noun. So instead of saying someone's name over and over and over again, we can replace their name with a pronoun like she or her, right? Your job is to look at each example, and again, there is a word in italics in each set. The word that's in italics is the pronoun. Find the noun that it is taking the place of, that it's referring back to. So, for instance, example A says, at the beginning of the 20th century, bananas were still an oddity in the United States. Some people even attempted to eat them with the skin on. The pronoun them is in italics. What does them refer to? What is them? Go back and find it and underline it. Same thing for B and C. Okay? Alright, so this assignment's a really good practice for thinking about coherence, thinking about the best way to order our ideas, and thinking about the best way to connect our ideas. So do your best on it. Again, as long as you try, you're going to get full credit, and then I'll tell you what you did well, what you missed the mark on. But again, try your best because it is very good practice, and coherence is another thing that you'll be scored very heavily on when I grade your formal writing assignments in weeks 5 and 6. So the more practice you get at it now, the better you'll do at it when you're actually getting graded for it. Alright, so it's due Sunday at 11:59. If you have any questions or run into any problems, let me know.